Hello, we are back. This is actually day 3, and I know I still come on and I'm so excited. Oh, hi, buddy. You are so cute. I am so excited, and I'm probably going to be this excited every single day because that's just, woohoo! That's just me. That's just what I do. So I actually wanted to start us today with a quote out of a book that I'm going to introduce to you guys because I think that this book is really, really great. So one night in December 2018, the Tony-winning actress and singer Tanya Pinkins talked on stage about her experience of menopause, adding, "Things are so much better than they were decades ago, but they can be bad and better at the same time." So Amanda and I were just talking about this, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and I'm going to introduce you first to Amanda. So Amanda Veneziano, yes? Did I say that right?
Yes.
Woohoo! We actually met through a mutual friend. And we found out that we have quite a bit in common, which is, I love that more and more now. At my age, 43, I'm finding that I'd rather look at the similarities that I have with somebody than look at their differences. And I don't know, surrounding myself with some really positive, amazing women. And Amanda happens to be one of those. Thank you for being here, Amanda.
Thank you for having me.
And you've got your little guy there.
Yeah, he's always there.
He is the cutest and the sweetest. And that was one of the things that we noticed that we had in common, was being a single parent. Obviously, mine is 20 years old, grown up, doing his Marine thing. And you have 2 kiddos, right?
Yes, I have a 17-year-old who is going to be a junior. Well, he's a junior right now, so he'll be a senior in high school next year. You need to stop. And I have a very active and some days spawn of the devil 4-year-old.
You couldn't tell that by looking at his face.
No, that's what keeps him alive, is that he's cute.
He is cute. He definitely has the charisma. I love that. So single parenting, let's let's bring that into this quote from this book. So this book, guys, is called Why We Can't Sleep. And it is written by Ada Calhoun, and it is talking about Generation X women and our new midlife crisis that we're going through. And both of us have found that it's really true. We're in that space between the baby boomers who they did so much, and they and their parents, and they worked so hard for women's rights, getting us through a lot and getting us to a place where we would have the right to do so many of the things that we do. So we've got them on one side, and then we've got millennials on the other side of us. and I would say that I tend to, I find myself a lot of times seeing a lot of myself in the millennials, or seeing a lot of the millennial, I guess, in myself, I guess, with the technology and the things that I want to do. But we'll get into that here in a minute. And being in that, coming of age around the time that technology was coming in and iPods and all of that, we still have some of the traditional values. And then we want to do a lot of the things that the millennials want to do. We want our freedoms, and we want to do everything and change the world.
Right.
Is that
Absolutely
working for us? I mean, is it working for us? Are we doing it, or are we kind of still stuck in the middle somewhere? What do you think?
I think we're 100% still stuck, but I don't think it has to do with us. I think it has to do with the people who are in control are still the baby boomers and still the old guard, if you will, and they don't want things to change. It scares them. And so we're stuck until they're gone, and then things can start to change.
Yeah, that is so profound, because my mother is, it feels like she's more of the Gen X and I'm the millennial, and that is not the case at all. She is right there, baby boomer, but she was so progressive.
Mhm.
And then, and my dad is very, very traditional. Um, and I shouldn't say that he's not conservative, if you will. He's a biker and all of that, but very traditional for sure.
Well, yeah, there's a huge difference though between traditional and conservative.
Huge, huge. And I don't
Huge
want people,
difference.
yeah, I don't want people thinking that that's what I mean when I'm
Right.
talking about him. But he still has a lot of that, male
Mhm.
power kind of thing. And so I don't know if you grew up with seeing a lot of that, um, male power, like men rule
Yeah,
the world.
I didn't. I grew up in um I don't know. I don't know if it's weird. It's what I grew up with, so like it is what it is. But so my mom, we always laugh and we call my mom a dirty hippie. She was 32 when she had me, so she was older when she had me, and she grew up in the 60s, and she protested the Vietnam War, and she did all the things, right? She did like all the hippy dippy things, and she still very much falls in that. But I think because she was that like progressive type hippie where let's not go to war because it doesn't make sense. Let's do things that make sense. She very much so is still like, let's do things, let's change things, but only if they make sense.
Mm,
So I grew up with a mother who waited until she was ready to have children, which makes a huge difference, I think, in how you're raised in the household that you're in. And then she was always a business owner, sometimes running 2 or 3 businesses at a time. My father was a teacher, but my father liked to go do what my father liked to go do. So, my dad was always around, but like if I wanted to do something that he was doing that was fun for him, that's when we spent time together.
mhm,
Otherwise, it was just me and my mom, like
right.
always me and my mom. So, I grew up watching mom and dad both go to work. Mom and dad, sometimes dad helped with the business, sometimes he didn't, depending on what business was going on at the time.
Right.
And then they got divorced, and my stepdad came in the picture, who was way older than my mom, so very much that like traditional male role, whatever. And I watched them just butt heads constantly, and I was like, not when I grow up, like not happening. Like I'm not doing that. And I think that's probably part of the reason I'm not necessarily the greatest relationship person right now, because I grew up watching my mom and dad both do whatever they wanted to do, but then like we would eat dinner together, or we would go on vacations together, or we would do all these things together. And so now I'm like, yeah, great, we're in a relationship, we're a family, we're a whatever, but leave me alone.
Mm,
Like, and I'm sure a big part of that too is that I have been a single parent and been divorced for however many years. And so then to be in a situation with my current fiance is very traditional, and he grew up in a very traditional family. Um, and so he has a really hard time with that. But I'm like, I was like, I love you, I miss you, I want to be with you 24/7. And I'm like, get
mhm.
away from me. Like, I love you very much, but go away. So that very much shaped who I am today. And I think it very much shaped my views on what it is to be a woman, because I
Mhm.
grew up with an incredibly strong, independent woman as my role model.
Right. For sure. And she was playing a lot of that, the role that a lot of Gen X women are. That's one of the things that this book, Why We Can't Sleep by Ada Calhoun, that it's one of the things that she talks about is women choosing to wait to have kids. So she was one of those pioneering women listening to people put her down because she was waiting,
Yep.
because she, what are you doing waiting, and being told that she was an old mom.
Right.
And
Get off the table.
still today, I was just talking to a friend the other day, and we're the same age, and she has an 8-year-old, and she was monitored as an advanced age maternity. And I'm thinking, dude, you were in your 30s.
I can sympathize with that. I did that too. I mean, I had my first son, I was 21 when my first son was born. I was married. We were together in high school. We got married really young. I turned 20. We got married September 21st, 2011. So that
Do
was
you
fun, let me tell you,
remember the
right?
21st night of
Yeah, of
September?
September. So, and then, I mean, like the whole world went to shit, right? Because September 11th happened.
Mhm.
So like everything changed. And then I turned 21 October 16th. So I'd been married for less than a month when I turned 21. And then I got pregnant November 7th.
Oh, boom,
So
boom,
it
boom.
was, yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's not the way it was supposed to go, but whatever, that's the way it happened. And then
And
didn't,
traditionally, that was exactly how it was supposed to go.
right, right. But like in our heads, according to our plan, Preston, shut up. It wasn't supposed to happen that way, but whatever. And then I found myself single and wanting to be in another relationship. And like, you know what? I think I want another kid at 34 years old.
Mhm.
So I was 35 when I had my now 4-year-old. And I was considered an advanced, because I turned 35 while I was pregnant. So that 35 is the cutoff for being a high risk pregnancy because of your age.
It's
So yeah, I did it.
crazy.
I did it both ways.
That's just crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
to me, being 43, it feels young to me. I'm not gonna lie, it feels young, and maybe that's because I'm married to a 28-year-old. I don't know.
I still think I'm 21 if it makes you feel any better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, it just, I get it from a medical standpoint. I get that.
Right.
But yeah, I think that your mom was doing some of that stuff. So you saw that, and then now you're with somebody who has that traditional um, focus, probably learned from his own family. That's what he
Mhm.
saw. So you guys are having to do a lot of communication, a lot of negotiation.
Well, the nice thing is that for me personally, um, there's the other part of it with how do I feel about things, and I personally think that women, there's that difference between nurture versus nature,
Mhm.
and I think that women and men are just different. There is just undeniable biological differences. And in my opinion, one of them is being nurturing. And it is so I like to stay home. That was one of my agreements when I had this monkey was that I got to stay home for 2 years. And if I wasn't going to be able to stay home for 2 years, I wasn't doing it because that was important to me. And I saw how well it worked with my other child and how secure it made him. And so I wanted to do that again. But at the same time, like, I like only working part-time and being home most of the time to take care of the house and do the cooking and like do all that. Like, that's me. That's not other people though. And
Right.
so I think when, my age group, people are like, why would you want to do that? I couldn't stand staying home. Oh my God, I could never be a stay-at-home mom. I can't, I stayed home for my 12 weeks or my 6 weeks with maternity leave and I couldn't wait to get back to work because I couldn't. Well, that's great. That's you. And I'm happy for you that you had the option to go back to work, but everybody's different. So in my
Right.
family, it works out fairly well. He still wishes that I didn't work, but he knows well enough to be like, I will support whatever decision you make. Here's what I would like, but I'll support your decision.
Yeah. And I mean, in the time that we're in, it's difficult to do that. I know you're a chef, and not just somebody who is like, oh, I like to cook, therefore I'm a chef. You hold a degree, you're good at it, it's a profession, but you're not actually getting to do that right now.
It's not the profession I'm in right now either.
Right.
I also have a medical assistant degree, and so
Yeah.
I work at a hospital as a phlebotomist. So I changed careers midlife also, not midlife, but I changed careers also. And I think that's another thing about being in that age group that we're in is you want to do everything.
Mhm.
Like, you want to do it all and be it all and experience it all. And how do you decide what to do and what to be and how to be? And I still tell people, I'm like, yeah, someday I'll decide what I want to be when I grow up. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going to end up. I'm not even 40 years old yet. I'll be 40 in October. I don't know where I'm going to end up. I mean, I'm
And
contemplating going back to school now for like 4 different things.
yeah, why not? I mean,
Right.
and
Why
a
not?
lot of us do, and that's kind of the millennial thing is
Exactly.
very much like that's very normal to, they project that millennials are going to have on average a change in job 35 times before they
Mhm.
retire. And that sounds like a lot, but is it really?
It
You were
used to be.
talking. it used to be a
I
lot,
mean,
but
it
it
used
doesn't
to
have to
be
be
you
now.
graduated from high school and you got a job and you stay there till you retired,
Yeah.
and then it changed to you went to college and you got a job and then you changed jobs to further your career.
Right. You moved up,
Right.
but
And that
stayed
might have
within
meant
that little
within the
circle.
same field, right? So you might have like changed your field a little tiny bit and changed your company or whatever, but like you still stayed in your pigeonhole, which I shouldn't say that because that has a negative connotation and I don't mean it negatively. Um, but yeah, now it's not like that. Now it's like, oh, that's not working for me, so I'm gonna go do this. Oh, that
Right.
doesn't work for me anymore, so now I'm gonna go try this. Oh, that doesn't work anymore, so now I'm gonna go do this. And
Right.
I think that so many people have a negative view on that because they're like, oh, you're flighty or you're flaky or you can't decide what you want to do. Or no, it's just there's so much more opportunity.
There's more opportunity, and we have a social consciousness now of that, of the joy factor.
Right. Right.
Whereas we in Gen X, we want to do things that bring us happiness and bring everybody else happiness too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then and some of us look down at the millennials because we're saying that that they care about freedom and their happiness. And
Yeah.
and I don't know if I agree 100% with that,
Yeah.
but they are looking more at freedom, and I
Mhm.
want to do what I want to do, and I don't want everybody telling me what to do.
Right.
And that seems like the next logical step of what we've been doing. So you, in wanting to do the things that you want to do, you actually have a couple of side hustles that you work on,
I do.
um, that keep you pretty busy. So you might do the stay-at-home mom thing or working part-time thing, but you're also looking at your niche and going, what really makes me happy and can support my family at the same time. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So tell us what you're doing because I love it.
Um, so I work sometimes part-time, sometimes full-time, depending on what happens at the hospital that I work at. And then I started my own business, which I do a little bit of everything. So I have culinary stuff, I have nails, I like hand paint and design press on nails. I teach virtual classes or in-person culinary classes. I teach knitting and crocheting. I do like upcycle, recycle stuff and sell that. I knit and crochet things to order or just because, and then I sell that. Um, I so that's the one thing, and then I sell for a couple MLMs also just because like I really like the products, and so then I got involved with the companies, and some of it just makes me happy, and I like to do it, and it's another art,
Hmm.
and I love that. Like I love being able to be creative and paint and whatever, no matter what day it is.
Right. And it seems that everything you're doing is helping people along the way, as well as making you happy. I definitely want to include your links.
Oh, sure.
When
Thank you.
I put this, I want to include your links on there because I have to say, the group that has the arts and the crafts and the meals and the here's some healthy options for this.
Yeah.
I love that group so much, and I love that it's not salesy at all. You're there. People can contact you if you want to. If they want or need you for something. But I would say most people who are in the group probably don't even know that you actually sell stuff,
Right.
because you just put that stuff out there as a resource.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
thank you so much. I know that I would have loved that when my son was younger. I didn't even have a computer, and obviously Facebook wasn't a thing or whatever.
Right.
Um, but I would have loved that, to have some of that stuff to to do with him and to experiment with myself. So I think that you are just a wonderful, amazing example of the everyday Generation X woman. And when I say everyday, that means nothing negative at all, because Generation X women are just out to show the next generations that it takes hard work. It's not necessarily, it is better, but it can still be bad, and
Yeah.
that's what we're working with as women.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than what it was, but there are still things that are bad, and we have to work through those and support each other through those. And you do a
Absolutely.
great job of sharing that.
God.
Yeah, doing it all while you're a mom of a very active young man. Actually, he's very well behaved. He may be active, but he's very well behaved.
Some days. I threatened to push him down the stairs the other day, so, you know.
And he looked at you like, yeah, right, Mom, I'm so cute. I know you will.
I mean, I'm telling you, he stopped spraying me with the hose.
Okay, but I have to ask, did you start the spraying with the hose?
No, he did.
Because in my case with my kid, it would have been me starting it and then getting irritated at the end because he decided he was going to finish it.
Yeah. I mean, that happens, but this time it didn't. I'm not helping you. Get down yourself. I'm done helping you. I showed you how once already.
Well, that's how I get attention, Mom.
Right, I know.
All right, so we are done. Probably went a little bit longer than I wanted to, but that's okay because I really wanted to share your story, and I'll make sure that I've got your link in there, and
Thank you.
we'll probably have you come on another time.
Okay, I would love to.
All right, awesome,
Thanks for
Amanda.
having me.
Yes, thank
Bye.
you so much. Mwah.
Mwah.
Let me